Hello, everyone. It's Charlton. Please subscribe to my channel and tap the notification bell like this video. That helps me to keep making videos. I don't think it's that much to ask, and I would appreciate it majorly. So there's a very interesting article. I've been reading about this. I've been following it. I kind of meant to make videos. It's at various stages in the life cycle of this story, which has been it's been ongoing. The vaping story and the mysterious lung illnesses that are very serious. I have two deaths that are linked to this. One of them was just reported recently today. Even though it's from quite a while ago, from like July, and on the first death was actually after that, but was reported sooner. I think the one that was reported today was from Oregon, and the one that was reported from today that actually took place in July. Another one, the first one that was reported, was from August, and that was in Illinois. In any event, this article here from the Washington Post, it seems, and it's pretty long, and I read it pretty thoroughly. I'm going to go through as much as I can without reading it. So I'll paraphrase and hopefully get the information right. But it's not totally clear to me, but they seem to be focusing in on something that may be a common denominator throughout the vaping products that are leading to this mysterious lung illness that, are putting, it's a severe lung illness that they're frequently having to put people in a medically induced coma. And, in several instances, I think it's, so severe that people need lung transplants to survive. So, anyways, but the common denominator, it's where they seem to be focusing, is something called vitamin E acetate. Okay, and the one thing that's not totally clear to me, and maybe I'll find out by reading this for the third time. I've read through it twice already, more or less, is I don't know that this is actually present in the e-cigarettes. And I do believe that people just using regular standard e-cigarettes have led to these severe lung illnesses to the point where they're literally put into a coma. And, whether or not, I mean, there's so many different cases. I think we're up to 200, probably more than that. And because this unknown illness is unknown, that provides that fuck, dude. I'm not stopping. That makes it so that basically states aren't required to necessarily report these things to the national level, to the CDC, if that's, I think that's the federal agency that regulates this stuff. For instance, like measles, when they encounter somebody they suspect of having measles, because of that, this is a designated disease that, they're literally required to report that. But with this, there's nothing, they don't even know what it is, so many times they're not even getting reported, okay? So it's just, all the real time data is, they're just trying to compile it, and at the same time, get to the bottom of it so people stop getting sick and in some cases dying. We're now up to 2 deaths. But vitamin E acetate seems to be what they're focusing on. That has been present in many of the things that they have tested so far. Not every single one, though. And again, I don't even know if I mentioned this. Yeah, I did. They're I believe it's been present in all the marijuana related products, but not necessarily, just basic e-cigarettes. And but the other complication, I think, is that many of the e-cigarette products, some of them aren't, authentic. They're knockoffs, and they're being, people are buying them sort of secondhand on the street or in various venues where they aren't necessarily the real thing. There's a lot of things going on here. So, state and federal health officials investigating mysterious lung illnesses linked to vaping have found the same chemical in samples of marijuana products used by people sickened in different parts of the country and who use different brands of products in recent weeks. The chemical is an oil derived from vitamin E. Again, it's vitamin E acetate. Investigators at the U.S. Food and Drug Administration found the oil in cannabis products in samples collected from patients who fell ill across the United States. They seem to focus on the state of New York, and I think they have one of the most advanced programs in terms of testing, one of the most advanced labs. So the same chemical was also found in nearly all cannabis samples from patients who fell ill in New York in recent weeks, the state health department spokesman said. While this is the first common element found in samples from across the country, health officials said it is too early to know whether this is causing the injuries. Vitamin E is found naturally in certain foods, canola oil, olive oil, and almonds. The oil derived from the vitamin known as vitamin E acetate is commonly available as a nutritional supplement and is used in topical skin treatments. So it's in like skincare products and nutritional supplements. I think that's like dietary supplements, like just basic vitamin E. I think. I mean, I was trying to look it up. I'm trying to figure out, and I'm going to go through some more of this. I was trying to figure out like would why would the providers be adding this to it? Like what would be the benefit? What would be the reason for adding it? Whether it's to sort of to dilute it, or whatever the reason might be. And I'm just giving out examples of what would be their motivation for adding vitamin E acetate to, these cannabis products that people are vaping. And I think I might have come up with something, and it's probably not it because it's never quite that simple, but I'll get to it in a minute, So we knew from earlier testing by New York that they had found vitamin E acetate, but to have FDA talk about it from their overall testing plan, that was the most remarkable thing that we heard, said one official who listened to the briefing. The FDA also told state officials Wednesday that its lab tests found nothing unusual in nicotine products that had been collected from sick patients, according to another person who took part in the call. That is where I keep having a problem with this sort of hypothesis as this might be the cause, because it seems to me that the e-cigarettes, the nicotine products, don't necessarily have it in it, and there's been people who have developed this mysterious lung illness from just using e-cigarette nicotine products to the best of my knowledge. But I don't know. The investigation has been particularly challenging for health authorities. We don't know what we're looking for. An official at the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, which is leading the investigation, officials are trying to come up with a consistent definition of the illness and a standardized system for collecting information from the states. Unlike certain infectious diseases, such as measles, this is what I was saying before, which are required to be reported to federal authorities, states are not required to report possible cases of vaping-related illnesses to the CDC. State health departments are reporting new cases weekly. As of August 27th, there were 215 possible cases reported by 25 states. Additional reports of lung illnesses are under investigation. On Wednesday, Oregon health authorities said a middle-aged adult who died in late July of a severe respiratory illness had used an e-cigarette containing a marijuana oil purchased from a legal dispensary. So it had an e-cigarette containing marijuana oil purchased from. So maybe they are. I mean, even though they're called e-cigarettes, and I was a huge smoker. I mean, I used e-cigarettes to help me quit in a very roundabout way, and it's not important to the story. But and I was a huge smoker. Believe me. And the other stuff too. I mean, lifelong. I mean, for the longest time. I don't need to get into it right now. So so it's the second death linked to vaping nationwide, and the first to be linked to a product bought at a store. Illinois officials reported the first death last week. They did not specify what kind of product was used in that case. State and federal health authorities have said they are focusing on the role of contaminants and counterfeit substances as a likely cause of vaping-related lung illnesses. Many patients have told officials and clinicians that they bought cannabis products off the street. Many of those who have fallen ill say they have vaped products containing marijuana, but others said they used traditional nicotine e-cigarettes. Many report using both. Okay, but using both, fine. But people who are just using e-cigarettes and still, just traditional nicotine e-cigarettes and still developing this mysterious lung illness. If it's the same thing, that's another thing. You might have two different types of illnesses, and they have similar symptoms, but that's my confusion of between it happening in marijuana related products and non-marijuana traditional nicotine e-cigarette products. So because to the best of my knowledge, the vitamin E acetate isn't in those unless I'm missing something. So I'm going to stop there because I don't read the whole damn thing, and you don't want to listen to me do it. But there was somebody actually from Bryn Mawr, and there's a number of cases. I mean, there's a person who's local, who's very close, that's in the hospital now and is not doing well. I saw the story about a week ago. So vitamin E, and this person describes it pretty, and he does it in layman's terms so that you can understand it. It's a grease, basically, and so you know. You vaporize it, and because it's a grease, because it has to be brought to a temperature even higher than just regular water or most other liquids to vaporize it. But and he was also indicating that it's likely that you're changing into something else other than what it was originally in by bringing it to that temperature. But in any event, when it cools down and becomes back to its liquid form in your lungs, it's a grease, and so that's what's getting into all the sacs and stuff in your lungs and causing severe damage. And basically, the vitamin E acetate, it can be ingested. Your digestive system can handle that, and it can process it. It can process lipids and greases, but your lungs aren't designed to do that. Your lungs are only designed to filter gases and stuff like that, not a grease. So vitamin E acetate is basically grease, said Michel Frankel, a chemistry professor at Bryn Mawr College. Bryn Mawr's around here. Its molecular structure means that you have to heat it up pretty hot for it to vaporize. Its boiling point is 363 degrees Fahrenheit, which is well above the 212 degrees Fahrenheit boiling point for water, and nearly 4 times higher than normal human body temperature. Once the oil is heated hot enough to vaporize, it can potentially decompose, and now you're breathing in who knows what, Frankel said. When the vapor cools down in the lungs, it returns to its original state at that temperature and pressure, she said, which means it now has coated the inside of your lungs with that oil. I mean, that's it's sort of a description I can understand. I think you can understand, and it can't be good, So, and actually, they're comparing it, and this is let me continue. In Utah, they're comparing it to another condition, lipoid pneumonia, and lipids is like grease. Lipids is fats. So in Utah, clinicians have treated several patients with acute lung injuries who were diagnosed with a rare condition known as lipoid pneumonia, with symptoms including chest pain and difficulty breathing. Those patients had abnormal immune cells filled with lipids, doctors said. Unlike the human digestive tract, which can break down and get rid of foreign substances, the lungs aren't designed to handle anything except gases, experts said. So then, real quick, I know I'm taking really long on this, just to show you a couple. I mean, this is one from that's just over at the Daily Mail right now, and it's from somewhere in California, I believe in Roseville, California. It's being reported in the CBS local Sacramento affiliate. Ricky D'Ambrosa, who's been put into a medically induced coma, and and is doing terrible. Right there. And I think he's actually, I think his case has been going on for a little while. I don't believe, the only reason I say that is because I was bringing up the dude from Broomall, which is very close to us, who himself is in a medically induced coma, and who I think, if he survives, is going to need a double lung trunk transplant. I saw the interview with his parents here. They're just destroyed, and they're just begging people to stop vaping, just stop doing it altogether, no matter what what product you're using. I don't have time to go in each of these individual cases, because I want to wrap this up. Hope this young man pulls through, man, big time. And So, but real quick, let me just read through this. I'm very sorry. California man is currently in a medically induced coma, fighting for his life, and his doctors say vaping is to blame. Last month, 21-year-old Ricky D'Ambrosio from Roseville, California, began violently vomiting multiple days in a row. Clinicians at the local hospital tested him for multiple illnesses, including the flu, but they came back negative. They were stumped by his condition until D'Ambrosio's sister told his medical team that her brother was a vapor. D'Ambrosio was quickly diagnosed with acute respiratory failure, and doctors placed him in medically induced coma, with his chances of recovering unclear. It comes on the heels of the news that federal and state health officials believe an oil derived from vitamin E found in cannabis vapor may be responsible for the lung damage of more than 200 Americans who reported vaping before falling ill. I mean, it is. I think it's in the. I think it's the vitamin E is in the cannabis. Oil vape products, and I do think I might. I don't know. I mean, it's supposedly it's found in dermatological products, skincare products, that it has like healing qualities. It helps like scars, or I can't even remember what it says in here. Scars like heal better so that the scar's less, but that's debatable, or something, with claims of improved wound healing and reduced scar tissue, but in skincare products. But another thing is I think it's in dietary supplements, in basic vitamin E, and everybody sort of knows the funny stories you talk about vitamin E. I think it's usually used for people looking to enhance their sex drive, or if I remember that's always joked about, but just so I brought it up here, and it says vitamin E increases blood flow and oxygen to your genitalia. It also is a key player in the production of your sex hormones to give you that sex drive boost. But that's irrelevant. I think it's the increased blood flow and oxygen to your genitalia. I mean, if this is put in to the products to increase blood flow, particularly for the cannabis, the marijuana related products, because it gives you a better high, that might be why it's being put in there. I mean, I don't know if you've ever heard. I mean, I don't want to get into my own personal stuff, and I have before. It's just not important right now. But I mean, I remember, I don't know what movie it is, where they're talking about, coughing is good when you're smoking marijuana, because it opens up the capillaries and allows the the smoke, the THC, to get into your bloodstream quicker, better, and gives you a better high. There's the expression, you don't get off until you cough. But is that the reason the vitamin E acetate is being put into the marijuana-related vaping products, to increase blood flow, oxygen to your, not oxygen, but, the THC or whatever to your blood in the lungs, and that's why they're adding it. And that's, I don't know. I mean, that's what I'm suggesting, possibly. All right, well, that's the story there, man. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below. I'll see you in the next video. Later, man.